The blending technique you should be very familiar with because you worked with it when you did your Tubism assignment and worked with tempera. It's simply adding highlights and shadows while the paint's still wet. Only this time, using acrylic, you're going to get a chance to just play around with how you want to actually apply the paint. Not only can you go like in the direction of the object, but we can actually do a back and forth pattern. You can sort of do a scrumbling type pattern. I want you to try different ways of applying the paint. So I'm just going to go back and forth with my paintbrush. And I want it to have a light source. My light source is going to be coming from the left, so my background is actually going to be a little bit lighter on this left side. And as I get to the other side, I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Don't worry if you actually get some of the paint on top of the pear. When you're working with acrylic paint and you're working with heavy layers, you can actually cover over the bottom layer of paint with another color after it's dry. So here I'm just going to quickly get a darker value down here. I'm going to lighter over on this side. Real quick way to add background. Now I can do the same thing on the bottom, or I can actually go in a different direction. If I want to make this look like it's a table that it's sitting on, I'm either going to go horizontally or a little bit on a diagonal. I would not make it vertical because then it would look like it's falling off. You're going to find that I don't care what kind of paint you use, red paint always is more translucent than it is opaque. I don't know why that is, I've yet to figure it out, but it works best if you mix it with colors. So I can give it a little bit darker value by adding a little bit of browns to it. It gives it more of an opaque look. Okay, now as I'm working with this, because I'm going really quick, I want to actually put the shadow of where my pear is touching the table in right away. And I'm going to use its complementary color. So I'm going to use a little bit of green in here. I'm going to mix more red on top of it, and it'll give it more of a tone. Give me more of a shadow on the table. So zoom in a little bit and see if you can see that a little better. Right, so now as I'm doing the pear itself, I want to first do just a base coat. And it will work best if you wait till the background dries. It is rather quick drying. You can either fan it back and forth, or you can actually go over to the heater and sort of put it face down and let the heater dry it if you're in a hurry. But if you don't let it dry, your colors from the background are actually going to mix. You don't always want that to happen, so you can see with this not being real dry, my red sort of pulling up into it. But if you notice, this green color tends to be a little bit more translucent. So I'm just going to do a base coat first, rather than wasting my time trying to add highlights and shadows to something that's just not going to completely cover. Let that dry, and then once it's dry, I'm going to go back over it with the same green, only this time I'm going to add my highlight colors. So if I want highlights on this side, I'll add more green, and while that's wet, I'll start bringing in some whites, and I'm just going to start blending it. Okay, this should be easy for you because you did this before with your Tubism assignment. I can add either its complementary, or I can add just a darker, maybe a brown or a black to it for the shadows. And I want it to go in the direction, I want it to look like it's rounded, like it's a big fat pear. When I'm done, this is what it will look like. And that is blending.